Hello everyone. So we're going to look at how to draw in 1-point perspective. Okay, so that's where everything is going far away into space and everything is converging at one point in space. So we're going to start by drawing a horizon line across our paper, maybe a little bit above the middle. And then on that line, somewhere close to the middle, our little dot, which we're going to call the vanishing point. That's where everything is going to seem like it's going towards that point. It'll get smaller and smaller and smaller as it gets towards that point. Okay. If we're below the horizon line, everything is going to look bigger down here at the bottom of the page and smaller as it approaches the vanishing point. And things that are above the horizon line will look really big up near the top, and they'll get smaller and smaller as they come down towards the vanishing point. Okay, so like clouds, for example, are going to look big up here near the top, and then we make them smaller as we get towards the vanishing point. Okay, so the first thing you're going to do is we're going to draw some lines, and they're basically going from the vanishing point to the corners. The two at the bottom, we will keep in the drawing. They can turn into like a road or something. So I'm going to draw these coming way out towards the corners, one going each direction. And then the ones up at the top are going to be more of guidelines. We're going to want to erase those later. So the ones on the top I would draw super softly so you kind of barely see them, so that later you'll be able to erase them. Okay, so hopefully you can see that. And I'm just going to turn my paper so that I can draw that line better. Okay. All right, so these lines are going to end up being the sides of a road, and then we'll use these guidelines up here for when we're adding buildings and trees and stuff. So we've got our road, but it's really wide. I'm going to see if we can maybe add a sidewalk. So we're going to draw another line and go from the vanishing point down to the road. And then same on the other side, from the vanishing point down the road. Okay. Right now it just looks like these kind of long triangles, and we want them to look more like sidewalks. So we're going to see if we can add some horizontal lines like the cracks in the sidewalk. And as we draw them, we have to draw them closer and closer and closer as they approach the vanishing point. So I'll start maybe here, and notice that they're horizontal to the bottom of my paper. Be really careful, because lots of times kids want to draw them this way. Okay, you don't want to do that. You want it to be flat, horizontal. So even though they're getting closer, they still have to be flat. Completely horizontal. Don't let them tilt. But try to remember to make them get closer and closer together. Okay, so we have our sidewalks, and let's see, we could do, this could be a road or it could be something else. I'm just going to let it be a road for now. So I'm going to put that line down the middle, and even these kind of yellow dashes will get smaller as they approach the vanishing point, and the spaces between them will also get smaller. I think that one was not as small, but hopefully you get the point. Okay, so all right, getting there. So now the next thing we're going to do is, let's see if we can add some buildings over on this side of the paper. So any buildings that we draw over here on the side are going to be the ones that look closest to us, and we'll try to draw them so they get smaller and smaller and smaller as they approach the vanishing point. So the buildings are all going to fit basically within this triangle here. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to be drawing the top of the building, and it's got to be parallel to the top of my page. So basically I'm just going to come straight across and And I'll see if I can number these lines to help you. So that's line number 1. Okay, line number 1. Line number 2 is going to go right along our little guideline here. That will be line number 2. And I'm only going to make it long enough for how wide I want my building to be. And that'll make more sense in just a minute. So that's line 2, the diagonal one. Line 3 is vertical. And it comes straight down to the sidewalk. That's line number 3. And then line number 4, we're going to come back up here. And I want you to see if you can find that little spot where line 1 and line 2 meet, which is right here. And we're going to draw a line that is vertical and parallel to line number 3. So it's going to come all the way down, and it doesn't stop there, okay? It's got to come all the way down to the sidewalk too, okay? And let's see, 1, 2, 3, that is line number 4. And then line number 5, you are actually kind of have a line here already, but it's the bottom of the building. So let's just redraw this line here. That would be line number 5. And then line number 6 goes straight over to the side of the paper. So that would be line number 6. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so I have my first building. I'll want to, of course, erase the numbers later, but I also want to erase my horizon line because the building is now in front of it. And you wouldn't be able to see that line anymore in the distance. Okay, so that's my first building. Let me see if I can add one more. Okay, so first I need that line number 1, and I want this building to be back here in the distance a little bit. So I'm going to come from right here, the edge of my first building, and now it's going to be line number 1, 2, 3. Then I come back up. Let me number these again. So that was 1, 2, 3. Line 4 comes straight down. That's line 4. 5 was that one along the sidewalk, and 6 goes straight back. 5 and 6. Okay, you do not have to label those numbers on yours. Again, I'm just doing that so you can see the way I'm doing it. Let's see, I'll do one more little building way back here in the distance. So again, to do that, I'm starting on the side of the last building I drew. That's this one. So I'll come maybe from how high up you go, it's kind of up to you. That's just going to determine how tall your building is. So I'm going to start maybe here. I'll come straight across to my guideline. That's line 1. Then go diagonal. That was line 2. Straight down is line 3. Line 4, I came back up here. Straight down. Line 5 is this diagonal. And line 6 is straight back. Okay, so that was line 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 is that, diagonal 1, and 6 went straight back. Okay, so see how I'm starting to get some buildings there? And again, I just have this one as a guideline. So when I'm done with drawing my buildings, I can come back in. I can erase that guideline. I don't want to erase where the guideline and my lines joined together to make the buildings. I still want that part of it, right? But the sections in between I could erase. And then I can go back and erase all those numbers. But I can also add doors. I can add windows, anything else that I want to add, okay? So let's see. So let's talk about adding some trees maybe over on this side. So when I'm adding trees, I want them to look really big on this side, like down close to me, and then get smaller and smaller and smaller as I go in the distance. So the first thing I want to say is when you're drawing your closest tree, it's going to be really big, and it's going to go up in front of this horizon line. It's going to just fill up the space right here. So you can start on the side of the sidewalk, and your tree, you can just draw your tree trunk however you want it to look. And this is going to be kind of a cartoony tree, but I like to split the trunk, kind of float this little V shape in the middle, maybe split it again, float that little V shape in the middle again. And then I connect the ends of all of these little lines like this, kind of like just dot to dot, drawing a little connecting line. And it can come up, way up like that, and I have my first tree. I want to go ahead and wherever these lines, my horizon line or my guideline, wherever they cut through the tree, I want to erase that because it's in front of the horizon now. Okay. And then this one that cuts through my tree canopy, I want to get rid of that one too. Okay. And then I can continue to make more trees, but I have to remember to keep my trunk growing straight up and down. Lots of times kids start drawing the trees, so they're going this way. They'll draw the tree trunk going like that because they think that this is the ground and the ground is like that. But it's not. The ground is, we're keeping it straight up and down. So if I drew another tree, maybe I have another one back here somewhere, and again, my tree trunk needs to be a little smaller, a little narrower, because my tree is going, where my tree's a little further away. So, and your tree might go behind the one in front, and if that happens, you won't see what's behind it. So you're just drawing the part of the tree that would show. Okay, so maybe I draw that tree trunk again, and it's just going to keep getting smaller and smaller and smaller. Going into the distance. Okay, and then I can put whatever I want way back here. If you want to put, you know, mountains in the distance, whatever you want to have back there. You could have some clouds in the sky. You know, maybe clouds get a little smaller when they start getting closer to the horizon line. But, so that's basically it, guys, what we're going to be doing. So we'll be working on how to draw the horizon line, our little vanishing point, our road, our buildings, and some trees. And that's it.